Good afternoon. Welcome. Afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
On this lovely day, a little warm. We do have a new student today. Welcome. At least one new student. So just a few safety things before we start. If you have balance issues or glaucoma, you don't want to put your head below your heart. And if you're pregnant, you don't want to be doing any severe twisting. So now that all that legal stuff is out of the way, welcome. We always start the class with an intention, and today's intention is to think about the past, but to think about it in a positive way. You know, we can make amends, we can mend bridges and all that kind of stuff, and that's good, but we can't always fix what happened in the past. But we shouldn't let that determine our future. We shouldn't let that dictate how we live our lives moving forward. So accept things that have happened that you can't change. Do the best you can and then move forward. And replace negative thoughts with positive ones anytime that they come into your mind. And you'll find that, I think, to be very helpful. Then, of course, just a safety issue. If we need to evacuate for the benefit of the new student, we would go out the double doors here, there, and over there, and reform in the front of the building, and we bring the sign-in sheets and make sure everybody got out safely. Also, for the new student or students, if you wouldn't mind, there's a critique sheet there. If you could fill that out after class, I'd greatly appreciate it. I always try to use the feedback to make the classes the best it can be. So we always start with nice diaphragmatic breathing, deep breathing in and out. We need to get oxygen into our body because that helps our muscles and our brain do all the work it needs to do. So also, please hydrate at any point. It's very warm. There's plenty of water in the back. Hydrate. You know, if you're feeling lightheaded, your brain doesn't function the way it should, maybe it's because you're dehydrated. So stay hydrated, very important. So let's do our deep breathing. As I breathe in, the stomach comes out, gives that diaphragm muscle lots of room to contract and come down, bringing in the appropriate amount of oxygen as it pulls the lungs with it. And then as I breathe out, my navel goes towards my back, the diaphragm muscle relaxes, pushes up, pushing the lungs, and pushing out the appropriate amount of carbon dioxide. So, deep breaths in, and out. And 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 in, and out. Fantastic. Now we'll do our warm-up. Always want to warm up before we stretch our muscles. And for today, we'll just start with a little bit of shoulder work first, just moving my shoulders back, and then coming forward, and back, and forward, and back, and forward, and one more back, and forward. Now holding the left arm straight out and threading the needle, right arm goes up underneath, and just moving as much as I can to the right, and then reverse, right arm goes out, and threading the needle the other way. This is normally done on the floor. This is just as good. And one more in the opposite direction. And one more in the opposite direction. Very good. Now we'll mark time warming up our legs, our hips, our knees. So we're just gentle marching here. And of course the hips are getting warmed up, the gluteus muscles. And now maybe a right oblique. A little bit of a twist there in the hips, and back to the center, and a left oblique. And back to the center, and a right oblique. And back to the center, and one more left oblique. And back to the center. Now, while we're marching, we'll do our seated good morning exercise, just very slow. Arms coming up, touching the hands, and back down. Nice and easy. Warming up those shoulders, warming up the legs, the core. Boy, we're all in step. Those military guys are laughing. Okay, we come to a stop, just rest that out, kind of pedal those feet a little bit. Very good. Roll the shoulders. And the opposite direction. Yeah, that's a little bit of cadence there, guys. Very little. So a little more shoulder and arm work, bringing the arms up into our goalpost position. And from here, let's just gently go to the right, nice and slow, waking up the liver and waking up the digestive system, coming back to the center and then to the left. Easy goes. And back to the center and back to the right. Also stretching those oblique muscles, back to the center and one more left. And back to the center, very good. Now as I breathe in, I'll bring my arms down. As I breathe out, I go up, breathing in, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out, very good. And now here from goalpost, reversing the goalpost, there we go. And as I breathe in, I come up, breathe out, I go down, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out. And now from here, again twisting to the right. So it's a different stretch across the upper shoulders, back to the center and twisting to the left. And back to the center and twisting to the right. And back to the center and one more left. And back to the center, restoring our normal goalpost. And then from here, bringing the hands and elbows together if you can. And again, gently twisting to the right. So a little different stretch here in the middle back, and back to the center and to the left. Slowly working our way down the back to the center, and one more to the right. And back to the center, and one more to the left. And back to the center. Now we're going to engage the entire back, and as well, we'll get the hips involved, leaning forward very carefully. And again, going to the right. Nice big stretch. And back to the center and to the left. And back to the center and to the right. And back to the center and one more left. And back to the center, returning now to vertical. As I breathe in, I come down. As I breathe out, I go up. And in, and out. And in, and out. And in, and out. And in, and out. Very good. And releasing from that, roll those shoulders nice and slow, big roll. Great range of motion here, making the shoulders really elastic, and then the opposite direction. Nice big roll, getting that synovial fluid secreting into the joints there, lubricating the bones, and then of course we'll do the opposite, and then the opposite. Very good. So now we want to maybe stretch our hamstrings and our calf muscles a little bit, so I'm just going to bring my feet straight out, taking my heels into the floor. Be careful here to make sure you're good and sturdy in your chair. And then we'll just slowly come forward here. No pain ever, please. Hands heading towards the ankles, but only as far as you can safely and comfortably go. And then coming back up nice and slow. And coming forward again, nice and easy. And coming back up. And then one more coming forward, ever so easy. This is called a forward fold in yoga, or Paschimottanasana, if you're taking notes. And then coming back up. Very easy, great, and let's just step that out. So that's good, we're stretching those hamstring muscles, the calf muscles, of course, want to get those guys nice and flexible. Now we're going to do a little more intense work. We're going to do our boat pose. So I'm going to be seated really good and sturdy in my chair, and the feet come up, and then once I'm here, then I'm going to just start pedaling. So I've got all these lower body muscles moving now, and I'm tightening my core, so that's getting involved too. The rectus abdominis muscle, transverse abdominis, even the psoas muscle, the pelvic muscles are getting involved. Very, very good exercise, and then I'll add some rowing. Now I've got the shoulders and back muscles working here, pectoral muscles in the front. So good, making all those muscles nice and strong. And we'll come to a stop and just pedal it out. Deep breaths in and out. And let's come right back to that boat. A little more intensity here. Pedaling those feet. Maybe bringing the toes back towards you if you can while you're doing that. And then, of course, adding our rowing here. So we've got the whole body working, all 608 muscles. all 206 bones, everybody's involved, nobody gets a day off. Very, very good, great exercise. And we come to a stop, and let's pedal that out. There we go. Now we're just going to do a seated back fold here. So I'm just going to gently lean back, bringing my shoulders back, stretching the chest right across the chest, arching the back, and then coming forward, just a little arching the back in the other direction. It's kind of like our cat-cow, but not quite as intense. And then going back again, arching that back, shoulders go back. And then coming forward one more time. And going back one more time. Very good. Great. And we'll come to a standing position now. A little more warm up here, but with a little more intensity. Slowly, slowly building as we go along. So we're going to go back to our good morning exercise, bringing the arms all the way up. And then once we're here, we'll complete the stretch. There we go. Shoulders up, and then all the way down. And all the way up. Complete the stretch. And then down. And all the way up. Up. And down. And one more coming all the way up. And up. And now to horizontal. And now into our helicopter, twisting to the right. Big twist. Back to the center and twisting to the left. Nice and easy. And back to the center and to the right. And back to the center and one more left. And back to the center. Very good. Now leaning to the right, getting a nice stretch on that right side of the body. And back to the center and leaning to the left. And back to the center and one more right. And back to the center and one more left. And back to the center. Now with our arms still in helicopter mode, we'll just do some big ovals. There we go. Front to back. There we go. Nice big ovals here. And then the opposite direction. Back to front. Very good. Nice stretching here. Getting all those shoulder muscles involved. There's 8 muscles there. Very good. And we're released from that and just kind of shake that out. Coming now into our palm stretch, finger stretch, putting my fingers together, interlacing them, and then pointing my palms towards the floor. And now coming up, nice and slow. So now I've got the shoulders and the arms really involved, and again I'm going to twist to the right, nice and slow and easy. And come back to the center and twist to the left. And come back to the center, one more right. And come back to the center, and one more left. And back to the center, and bringing the arms down, nice and slow. We'll roll those shoulders one more time. So we get the whole body really, upper body really worked out there. We're going to do a little more lower body warm up. And we do that through our runner's lunge. So I'm going to take my chair. I'm going to hold on to it with my left hand. Left leg is going forward. Right leg is back, good and strong, nice and straight, making sure I'm very sturdy in my posture here. And now we're going to work these lower body muscles all the way up through the gluteus and into the core. And we're going to go slow, but speed is not what we want here. We want more time under tension. So as I breathe in, I come up. And as I breathe out, I go forward. Never letting that knee go beyond the toes. Breathing in, and out, and 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 we'll walk out of that, release from that, just walk it out a little bit, and do the opposite side. And again, speed is not what we're looking for. We want that time under tension, going to make all these lower body muscles much stronger, and that's going to hold us up and help us from preventing us from falling. So breathing in, I come up. And out I go forward. And do. And up. 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 And in. And great. And let's come up and just walk that out. So we want to complement that now with a squat. The lunge and the squat, you often hear me say, are 2 of the best exercises you can do to strengthen these lower body muscles. They really, really are. And they're easy to do, and they're safe to do if you hold on to something. That way you won't fall. Many people say, well, you've got to build the muscles so you can see them. That's not true at all. All we're doing is just making what we have a little bit stronger, and that'll do the job for us. That'll hold us up. So we'll do the assisted squat. So I'm just holding my chair and very gently just coming down to where these quadricep muscles are talking to me. And then coming back up. Never pain. And back down, nice and slow. And back up. And down. And up. And down. And up. And down. And up. And now for the yogis, the experienced folks who want to do the full yoga squat, you're welcome to join me. Otherwise, you're welcome to observe or continue on with the assisted squat, whatever works for you. Never pain, that's what's most important. For the yoga squat, I bring my hands together, spread the feet a little bit, and down I come, nice and easy, nice and slow. And once I'm there, then maybe I can just twist to the right slightly, and back to the center and twist to the left, and back to the center and back to the right, and back to the center and one more left. And back to the center, and now slowly coming back up, oh, so easy. And we walk that out. Very good exercise. Really great for the lower body. Boy, you want to make those muscles stronger, that'll do it. Let's do some mountain pose and deep diaphragmatic breathing with good posture. Deep breaths in. Great. Now let's have a seat. Hydrate if you need to, please. Always hydrate. Now we're going to do our upper shoulder and upper back muscle work, but eventually we also engage the middle and low back muscles as well, and also the hips. So starting, this is our eagle pose. So I'm going to take my right arm and put it straight up and down. The left arm is going to wrap around, but do only as far as you can safely go, no pain ever. However far you go is just fine. That'll work just as good as going all the way. And then once I'm here, I'm just gently going to turn to the right. And come back to the center and turn to the left. And come back to the center and one more right. And come back to the center and one more left. And back to the center. So up to this point, we've really worked the upper back muscles and shoulder muscles. Now we're going to lean forward, engaging the middle and low back, and also the hips. And again, I'm going to go to the right, nice and slow. And back to the center and to the left. And back to the center and one more right. And back to the center and one more left. Back to the center, returning now to vertical. And now, as I breathe in, I come down. And as I breathe out, I go up. And in, and up. And in, and up. And in, and up. And in, and up. And then we unwind from that nice and slow in a big roll. Whoa. I feel so good in those shoulders, I know. And then, of course, going in the opposite direction. And then our opposite, teasing the brain, left and right brain. And then opposite. Keeps it nice and sharp. And now, of course, we do the opposite side. So left arm comes up, right arm comes around and wraps. And then once I'm here, gently turning to the right again. Back to the center and turning to the left. And back to the center and turning to the right. And back to the center and one more left. And back to the center now, leaning forward very carefully, getting that middle low back hips involved, and again we go to the right, and back to the center and to the left, and back to the center and one more right, and back to the center and one more left, and back to the center and returning to vertical. And now as I breathe in, I come down, and as I breathe out, I go up, and in, and out. And in, and up, and in, and up, and in, and up. Great, and we release from that very slowly roll those shoulders again. Oh, that feels good. And then, of course, opposite direction. Everything working really well. Or opposite, opposite. And opposite, opposite. And so again, by strengthening those upper back muscles, as I've mentioned many times, it helps keep our posture good because it balances the pull from the pectoral muscles, which are also very strong. And by strengthening the back muscles, we keep our shoulders back instead of coming into a kyphotic type posture, so we want to prevent that. So strengthening those muscles helps do that. Let's come to a standing position now, so we're totally warmed up, ready now for our warrior moves, for our more intense movement. So we've gone from dynamic movements where we're kind of flowing constantly to where now we're going to do some stretching and holding, and of course still doing some dynamic poses as well. Starting with our warrior one. So my left leg is out, I have my chair handy, so if I need to hold on to it, I can. Right leg is back, just like our runner's lunge earlier. And now once I'm safely and comfortably sturdy here, arms up by my ears, and now holding into this pose, deep breaths of course, in and out. And then as I breathe in, I'll come up slowly, and out I go forward. And in, and out. And in, and out. And in, and out. And in, and out. Now very carefully I'm bringing the hands down behind my back, interlacing the fingers, but of course if you need to hold the chair, please do so, safety first. And now once I'm here, as I breathe in, I come up. And as I breathe out, my hands and arms go towards the ceiling and chest goes towards the forward knee. Great, and releasing from that, the arms come right back to alongside the ears. And once I'm here, good and sturdy, I flow into my warrior two, readjusting my feet as I need to, making sure, again, I'm good and sturdy, comfortable here. And then once I'm here, breathing into the pose, I come up, and breathing out, I go forward. And in, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out. And in, and out. And now I'm going to turn that forward palm towards the ceiling, coming back into my peaceful warrior. Nice stretch on that whole left side of the body. Left arm goes all the way up. And now once I'm safely here, I breathe into this pose. And flowing right back into that warrior two, nice and slow. And today we're doing our side angle, so I'm going to bend my forward arm and bringing it down to my forward thigh. The right arm comes up alongside my right ear, if you can, otherwise hold the chair with that right arm. Looking up under that arm towards the ceiling if you can, and then breathing into this pose. Great, and flowing back into that warrior two, nice and slow. And then once we're here, we come to a standing position. Let's walk that out. How y'all doing? Let's hydrate, please. Hydrate. And let's oxygenate. Get some oxygen into our system. Our brain needs that to issue all the instructions to the muscles. Deep breaths in and out. Great, and now do the opposite sides. And now right leg is forward, left leg is back. Coming into our warrior one. Nice and easy. Arms by our ears. Once we're here, good and sturdy in the pose, breathing into the pose, I come up, and out I go forward. Nice and slow. those hands down behind my back, interlacing the fingers. Breathing in, I come up. And breathing out, my chest goes towards that forward knee. Arms and hands towards the ceiling into our humble warrior. Great, and releasing from that, now coming right back into that warrior one. And then once we're here, we flow into our warrior two. Readjusting as we need to, want to make sure we're really sturdy. And then once we're good and sturdy into the pose, breathing in and out. And now I'm going to turn that forward palm towards the ceiling and leaning back into my peaceful warrior. Stretching the right side of the body, such a good stretch. And then once I'm safe and comfortable here, I'll breathe into this pose. And flowing right back into that warrior two. Now coming into our side angle, bringing that forward arm down to my forward thigh. The left arm comes up alongside my left ear, looking up under that arm if I can. And then once I'm here, breathing into this pose. Great, and flowing back into that warrior two, nice and slow. And then once we're here, coming to a standing position, walk that out. Oh, I know, that's some pretty intense stuff. Let's get some oxygen into our system. Deep breaths. Perfect, okay, and hydrate if you need to. Very good, and we'll do our balance pose for today, or our first balance pose for today. And today it's going to be the dancer's pose, that's our favorite. I know. But here again, do only what you can do. You know, the whole goal is, again, to challenge the brain and get it to work with the supporting muscles. And so anything we do, whether it's the perfect balance pose or not, doesn't matter. We're building that memory, we're building that communication, and that's what's so important. Got that cerebellum, that part of the brain that's responsible for balance, really getting active here. So option one, I can just take my right foot and put it on my left hand, which is a tree pose, or option two is, of course, the dancer's pose, where I hold that ankle, bringing that leg up, be careful of the bent knee, and then once I'm here, I can feel, I'm sure, I can, and I'm sure you can, lots of communication going on between my brain and that supporting foot. There's lots of little movement going on there, kind of like autopilot. I can hold my chair and I'm still getting that communication, that's what I want. Or I can even make the challenge a little more, just hovering my hand over the chair. And maybe I can go a little further and raise that hand up to the ceiling. And maybe a little further from that and raise the gaze up to the ceiling. Do only what you can safely do. We're still meeting our goal. And then slowly I bring my hand down. Then I bring my gaze down. And then I release that leg and we go. So good. I'm saying so good and people are looking at me like, he's nuts. Okay, now do the left leg, obviously. Always do the opposite side. Do one side, then we have to do the other one. Keep everything balanced if we can. And again, now we can add to the challenge, maybe just hovering over the chair with the hand. And you know, we're doing this in our shoes, which is actually making it more difficult because they're offering a cushion. If you were in a bare foot on the floor, you'd actually have a little more stability. So this is increasing the challenge, which is even better. And then maybe I can bring that arm up to the ceiling. And then maybe I can bring the gaze up to the ceiling. Whatever works for you. And then slowly bringing the arm down, and bringing the gaze down. And then bringing the leg down. And we walk it out. Very good. Okay, time to do a little resetting here. Some great work. So arms by our ears, leaning back. And here now we're into the static stretching. So we're going to hold and do some breathing here. And then we're going to come forward into that forward fold. Remember the caution about glaucoma. If you have problems there, you don't want to put your head below your heart. Otherwise, you go as far as you can safely go. This is such a fantastic stretch for the calf muscles, hamstrings, gluteus muscles, sciatic nerve. Everything's involved. Shoulder, arms, boy, oh boy, great stretch. Breathing in. And coming back to our standing position, hands on our hips, and turning to the right and holding here, deep breaths. And back to the center, and then turning to the left, and again holding with deep, deep breaths. And back to the center, and let's push forward, really opening up those shoulders, moving the shoulders back, opening up the pectoral muscles, and some deep, deep breaths in. Great, and now let's have a seat. Hydrate again if you need to. So we'll do a little more cerebellum work here. So this is our accuracy, our coordination, and our balance, believe it or not. First thing we'll do, bring the arms all the way out, making a fist. Thumbs are up, eyes are closed, and it's important now, we want to make sure the arms stay horizontal, not going down or up as we bring our arms in to touch our nose. I'm going to close my eyes, right thumb comes into my nose, and back out. Left thumb comes into my nose, and back out. Right thumb, and back out. Left thumb, and back out. Right thumb, and back out. Left thumb, a little faster, speeding up. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, and right, and left. And we open our eyes and release from that. I had 2 misses. How about you? At least I didn't poke myself in the eye, so that's a plus. Another thing we can do is stimulating blood flow in our hands, our arms, and shoulders, but also stimulating that cerebellum. I'm going to take my right hand and make a fist and push it into my left hand. And then I'm just going to push, push, push. Nice, and hold there. I'll push in tight as I can and just hold. Deep breaths. Great, and now release from that and switch. So now the left hand is a fist, and the right hand is encompassing that. And I'm going to push, 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 push. And release from that, and we'll switch, go back again, other side, and push, push, push. And switch one more time. Left hand is a fist. Left hand is in a fist, and the right hand is encompassing, covering that. And push, push, push. Great, and releasing from that, let's shake those wrists out. And then we'll just do the knuckles and the palm. So we're going to take our hand straight up. Thumb goes across the palm, and then the fingers come down really tight, and then we squeeze, 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 squeeze. And we release, and back, and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. And one more. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. And then shake that out. And even the shaking is good for stimulating blood circulation. Very good. So now I want to do a little hip work, a little stretching of the hip. Although while we do say that this particular pose targets the hip, it also encompasses a lot of other muscles, so it's really a very good move. Called the pigeon pose, and there's two options. Option one, you can take your right foot and put it against the outside of your left. Or option two, if it doesn't hurt, you can bring that right leg up and bring it behind that left knee. And now once we're here, bringing our arms up alongside of our ears, and as I breathe in, I come up. And as I breathe out, I come forward towards that knee. Never pain and no bouncing. Nice and slow. Very good, and we release from that. Now we're just going to rotate this ankle. I want to make that ankle really well lubricated, get it through its full range of motion, nice and flexible, and that'll really help to prevent falling. And then we'll go in the opposite direction. I've got some crackling going on there in the ankle. That's good. That's the excess carbon dioxide being released. And then I'm going to plantar flex that foot and dorsiflex it. Plantar flex and dorsiflex. Plantar flex and dorsiflex. Getting a sciatic nerve, a really good stretch. And now I'm just going to do some myofascial release into those calf muscles. Those guys a little bit broken up there. Hopefully they won't wake me up tonight. Good, and we release from that and switch legs. Nice and slow. Bringing that leg back, arms by my ears, breathing in, I come up. And breathing out, I come forward ever so slow. And in, and down, and in, and down, and in, and down, and in. And good, and releasing from that, now we'll rotate this ankle. And then the opposite direction. And in this morning's class, I almost said rotate this wrist. That's my dyslexia for you. And so, and now we'll plantar flex that foot, excuse me. And then dorsiflex, and plantar flex, and dorsiflex, and plantar flex, and dorsiflex. And plantar flex. And dorsiflex. Very good. And now we'll massage those calf muscles there. Break those guys up. Very good. Excellent. We'll bring that down and do a little more leg work, a little more hip work here. Doing our big toe, as we call it. So I'll bring my right leg up. Toes come back towards me and they go out to the side. And back to the center. And out to the side, and back to the center, and out to the side, and back to the center. And bring that foot down, other leg comes up, toes come back if you wish, and then out to the side, and back, and out, and back, and out, and back, and come down one more with the right side. Toes come back, and out, and back, and out, and back, and out, and back, and one more with the left. Toes come back, out we go, and back, and out, and back, and out, and back, and bring that foot down. Let's pedal that out a little bit. Very good. So nice, strong hips, legs, quadricep muscles, everything's really getting strong here. Coming back to a standing position. Going to do just a little more bending and twisting here. And also some more balance. Again, I want to take my hands, interlace my fingers, palms up towards the floor, and then bringing those guys up, pushing them towards the ceiling. And then once I'm here, I'm going to twist again to the right, getting a little different twist throughout the whole body, and back to the center and to the left, and back to the center and to the right, and back to the center and one more left. Back to the center, now leaning to the right. That's a different twist. And back to the center and leaning to the left. And back to the center, and I bring those hands down, releasing the hands, and we're going to do a little counter to the dancer's pose. which of course, as we know now, is the Karate Kid pose, or the crane pose. So I'm going to hold my chair with my left hand. I'm going to bring my right leg up. And just keep it at about horizontal here. And then once I'm here, holding that chair for sure. And then, if you wish, you can add a little more balance challenge. I'm just going to hover my hand over the chair. Or I'm going to bring those arms up. Whatever you can do is perfectly fine. Whoops, I came out of it. No problem coming in and out of the pose. It's actually good. A little more challenge, a little more work for the brain and the muscles. And then once we're here, maybe we can do a little bit of squatting. But just do what you can do. Very, very good. Okay, releasing that, let's walk that out. Do the opposite side. Boy, the time really flies. And so the left leg comes up. Hovering over the chair, if you wish, or holding, good and tight. Lots of communication into my supporting foot here, for sure. Maybe a micro bend in the knee might help in the supporting leg, up to you. And then maybe we can bring those arms up. Totally up to you. And maybe a little bit of a squat. And then we release from that, and let's walk that out. Some deep breaths here. Let's get the oxygen to the brain. Brain did so much work just then, breathing in. Fantastic. So now we want to work some of our upper thigh muscles. So in the inside of the thigh we have the adductor group, and in the outside we have the abductor group. They play a big role in our balance side to side, also our walking gait. We want to strengthen those guys a little bit. So I'm going to hold my chair with my left hand. My right foot is going to come up and over, but it's off the floor. So I'm just tightening those inner muscles on that right thigh. Those adductor muscles, that's a group of muscles actually. And they're going to get stronger. And then I'm just going to maybe add some balance challenge by hovering my hand over the chair, if you wish. Up to you. And then very slowly I'm going to go to the abductor side. There we go. Get that iliotibial band, the IT band, and the abductor group. They're getting stronger now. The tensor fasciae latae is the name of the muscle. And then we come back to the adductor side. Deep breathing always helps. And back to the abductor side one more time. And we release from that, and let's walk that out. And do the other side. Bring that left leg up, off the floor slightly. Tightening that inner group, muscle group there. And then maybe hovering my hand and some deep breaths. And then going to the abductor side. And back to the adductor side. And back to that abductor side. And we release from that, and let's walk that out. So good. All right. We're getting towards the end. Okay, now we're going to do a little calf muscle work here. Don't want to leave those guys out. Nobody gets left out here. So holding onto my chair, and I'm just going to come up on my toes. I'm just going to hold here. Nice deep breaths in and out. And then maybe coming down, but not all the way. And then back up, and down, and up, and down, and up, and down, and up, And down, and that's all the way down, and we release from that, walk that out. Very good. We'll do our final resetting now. So important to do that static stretching and holding. You know, as we do work our muscles, they build up extra lactic acid and also carbon dioxide. And when we do these static stretches, it elongates those muscles, and that allows the system to remove all the excess. So very, very good, and prevents pain the next day. So, bring your arms by our ears and just leaning back. Deep, deep breaths here, holding in this static stretch. And then coming forward again into that Uttanasana, the forward fold. And holding here, deep breaths in and out. And coming to our neutral position, arms all the way out into our helicopter pose, and then twisting to the right and holding here, deep breaths. And back to the center, and then twisting to the left and holding here, and some deep breaths. And back to the center. Bring the arms down, and let's have a seat. And because we did the extra calf work today, we'll just do one more forward, seated forward fold here, so we can stretch those calf muscles and the hamstring muscles a little bit more. And the difference is now when we stretch them, we're going to come down and we're going to hold. And we'll just do some breathing as we hold here. Great, and coming back to our seated position. So now we'll do our neck exercises, getting ready for our Shavasana. But first we'll just do some nice head rotations, getting it through a full range of motion. So I'm just going to rotate my head to the right and all the way up and over, and coming down. And again, all the way up and over, and coming down. And then going to the left. Nice and easy, gentle flow. And down, and one more to the left, up and over. And coming down. Fantastic. In the neutral position, I'm just going to lean forward, stretching the back of the neck. And then backward. And then from neutral, I'm going to lean to the right. And back to neutral and lean to the left. And back to neutral, now gently turning to the right, back to neutral and turning to the left. And back to neutral, perfect. Going to do our eye exercise. So again, for this exercise, our head is straight forward, just going to move the eyes. So I'm going to, looking straight forward, I'm going to look to the right, up, left, and down, right, up, left, and down. Now left, up, right, and down, and left, up, right, and down. Very good. Taking my two fingers and just going to gently massage the eyebrows here. This is our little yu-yao. I was saying to Conrad this morning, that I guess the pollen is still out there, so I have a bit of a dry eye issue. This seems to help. Also helps relax the eyes if they're really, really tired. Stimulating some blood flow there, I think. And I'll move those fingers then to the temples and just gently massage the temples a little bit, calming my nervous system, lowering my blood pressure. And then bringing the hands together, the fingers together, and we'll do our little carpal tunnel work here and get the blood flowing through the hands and fingers. So good. Getting all that lubrication in the knuckles as well, which is very, very good. And then I'm going to take my right hand and bring it, my right arm rather, bring it straight out and gently bringing the hand back. No pain ever, just stretching slightly across that wrist, and it helps with blood flow. And I'm going to bring that hand into the opposite direction, just gently pulling back, so easy. And release. Now do the left arm straight out. Left hand comes back, ever so gentle. And then the opposite direction. And gentle again, just slightly pulling that back. And release from that. And let's just roll those wrists around a little bit, roll the hands around, wake all those guys up. Very good. Coming into our Shavasana now, so our palms come down to our thighs, and then they can be up or down, your choice. And in some cultures, if the palms are down, you're closed to outside influence, and if they're up, you're open to outside influence. Completely up to you, obviously. Eyes closed, and as we breathe in, we do our meditation, and to do that, we count as we breathe silently. 1, 2, 3, 4 as we breathe in, and 1, 2, 3, 4 as we breathe out. And by keeping our mind occupied on the counting, we block out all the other negative thoughts and all the problems of the day and everything else. We relax the mind, and it's very, very refreshing. So the eyes are closed, hands on our thighs, deep breaths coming in, and out. And in, and out. And in, and out. As mentioned in our intention today, here is where we can put the past behind us. We can't change it anyway. Recognize it's there and move on. We can forget about those things we don't control. And we can recognize that there are just some things we can't do, and there's nothing wrong with that. Totally relaxing the mind, letting oxygen pour in, refreshing the body and the mind. And as we breathe out, it takes all the metabolic waste, but also all the negative thoughts. Counting as we go, breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathing out, 1, 2, 3. As I breathe in, I calm my body. And as I breathe out, I smile. Smiling relaxes all the muscles in the face and helps calm the nervous system. Deep breathing. Always coming back to the breath. Absorbing all the wonderful energy in this room. Worry-free, pain-free. Focusing only on right now, this moment in time. Not worried about the future, not worried about the past. Totally relaxed. Looking now at the body, we see that our feet are relaxed, our legs are relaxed, our hips, our core, the chest and the arms, the neck, the head. Everything is relaxed. Breath coming in, nourishing the entire body. Breath going out, cleansing the entire body. So calming, so peaceful. Very slowly now, we move our fingers, move our feet, bringing our arms all the way out. Our final stretch, hands come together, hands to heart center. I continue to be so humble that you allow me to come and teach this practice to you. And I hope that the light within me has the pleasure of shining alongside the light within you. I bow to you. Namaste. Thank you.